Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ian.is.weird. I don't know why I pushed this up right before, but yeah. So today we are going to be watching Five Nights at Freddy's. We're going to do a little Matthew Lillard interlude because I love Matthew Lillard. We already watched a movie that he was in, the movie Scream, the original one, and it really made me think: why are we not watching more movies with Matthew Lillard in it? Because and so I am going to be watching Five Nights at Freddy's tonight, and then I am planning on watching the live action Scooby Doo tomorrow. Although, I could forget, things happen, or maybe it's not available. But also, there's 13 Ghosts. If I can find that, I haven't looked for that yet. But I just love Matthew Lillard. He is really, he has been doing a lot of the convention circuit, like the Comic-Con type convention circuit for a while. He always has people are always just really, really commenting on how nice of a guy he is, and just he's just a humble, really sweet dude. And I obviously want to support anyone who has that reputation, but also he's just very, very attractive, and I just kind of drool over him every time. So we're gonna watch some Matthew Lillard movies. A little drag update for you all. So apparently I couldn't get tickets in time, or the registration closed for the drag performance. It was here and gone for the early September drag show that I had tried to get in on. So the next one is on October 5th. So I think I'm going to shoot for that instead, which is going to give me a lot more time to get my outfit nice and tight, and I'm going to have more time to do my hair, find my makeup a little bit, get the costume right, everything. So I'm really excited that I'll have a little bit more time. I wanted to do my performance before October because I figured that October would be the most full month, because a lot of people start doing their drag in October because of Halloween and things like that. So I wanted to kind of get ahead of that. But, best laid plans of mice and men, what have you. It's, it just is what it is, and that's sometimes how you gotta roll with it. So that's okay. That's okay. So I went to the beauty supply shop, and I was looking for white Kanekalon. Kanekalon is a type of synthetic hair that is usually used for braiding into hair. So you'll usually find it in braid bundles, where it's kind of like loose hair and you braid it into existing braids. Now I was looking for white because that's the wig that I am using. No white at all, no white. Not lots, but plenty more platinum. But platinum blonde is not white. It looks very different. But they did have they had this gorgeous rainbow, and I was like, I've been eyeing this for a while, and it's just so pretty. And I was like, you know what? What if I just put rainbow hair inside the white, and it just kind of peeked through? And I want to make sure that once it's all curled up and put into the wig, because let's say I attach the purple here, well, a lot of my back combing is going to be here, and you don't want to usually see where you've done all the back combing. So the purple would kind of be missing, but because this is kind of it's, one long strand that goes from red to purple back to red, I can shift it. So, and especially because it's going to be curly, I can shift it so that hopefully we'll see all the colors in the hair. And most of the back combing will be in this kind of color section, so that I can get some full rainbow spectrum. I could also order from the place that I ordered that wig from. I could order some braiding hair that is white, but they tend to be more expensive, and then you have shipping costs. Going to any beauty supply shop, getting white hair is always difficult. I think maybe I'm trying to think of if if I've ever seen it, but I don't look for it often because there's not really a whole lot of need for it. You can't dye synthetic hair. You can, well, you can, but you have to use like alcohol ink. But getting synthetic hair white is kind of, I think, out of the question to my knowledge. Now, human hair is more expensive. Usually, it's already on wefts, which you could sew in, and you could, in theory, go ahead and get really light wefts of human hair and bleach it and try to get it white. However, I'm not like I've never gotten hair white, and I just wouldn't want to potentially ruin some fairly expensive tracks just to try to get it white and try to get it even enough where it would match. It not being on a head does make it easier because it all has the same porosity, meaning that there aren't spots that'll dye more easily than other spots. However, you know, I'm like, maybe I'll do rainbow. Maybe I'll check out what's available for white white options. But I'm just going to, I'm probably just going to do the rainbow. I thought that keeping it white would allow me to have more options to put it into different outfits and mix it with different outfits. But rainbow is always cute and kind of goes with everything when you're a drag queen. So, you know, do with that what you may. Anyways, so we're gonna watch Five Nights at Freddy's. I was gonna do like a mini like chunk of movies based on video games. However, there's just not enough that are available to me right now. So I think that that's going to be a little bit of a reach. So we're just going to watch Five Nights at Freddy's, and we're going to have a little romantic interlude with Matthew Lillard. So let's go. Oh wait, I need to connect my Roku and my phone. Sorry about that. I hope everyone is doing well. Please tell me what you're working on, or if you're just hanging out, what you're up to today. I think that would be really cool to, see what's up, and we can have a good time. I'm still working on my cardigan. I did not get much work done. Actually, I haven't worked on it. I haven't even touched it today. So I need to get some work done on that. And then now I feel like less pressure with the drag thing. So it's kind of like smoothing out and like kind of like decompressing a little bit so that I can work totally on that. I did not pick up the yarn that I ordered last night. I was having trouble with the Joanne site last night. Sometimes it gives me trouble. But I did order it eventually. It's ready, but I'm going to pick it up tomorrow because my sleep schedule has been just so chaotic that I don't know if I'm getting sick or if, and I am wearing a mask when I go out, like whether I am sick or not, I know that there's stuff going around and I just don't want to deal with that. And I don't want to spread it to people who I know who are around me, who are immunocompromised. So I'm just, not even bothering with that. And then if I'm sick, I obviously don't want to get anyone else sick. I'm trying to go out as low as possible. So yeah, so that is what's going on. I didn't get the extra yarn, but I still have a full skein and then I have a partial skein. Working on a washcloth. Ooh, love that. It's one of those washcloths with scrubby yarn in it. Oh, how are your hands doing? I've heard that the scrubby yarn is pretty brutal on your hands. I'm currently looking for scrubby yarn as well with that I'm hoping will go through my knitting machine so that I never have to kind of touch it with my hands pretty much. But I'm trying to find the right scrubby yarn that will go through my knitting machine. So, yeah, are you doing like the kind of more traditional like scrubby yarn? Are you using like the scrubby sparkle yarn? Are you using one of those yarns? Like I think Hobby Lobby has like a tube scrubby yarn that I've heard good things about that seems to be the least painful, even though I don't support Hobby Lobby or anything that they do because they're garbage humans. But tis what it is. Um, but I don't tell other people how to spend their money. It's not right for me to do. At least that's my point of view on things. I try not to do it, I should say. Um, and yeah, so let's make sure that I am connected. Yeah. But that's great that you can make something for your sister. When I first started crocheting, I kind of was like, why would anyone want like a handmade washcloth when you can get one for like super cheap at like Walmart or something? But I have been totally converted because handmade washcloths and scrubbies, they're game changers. They're so amazing. So I totally think that that's an amazing thing to do for someone. Bit hard on the hands and a bit hard to see where the stitches are. Almost finished. Oh, that's awesome. I'm sure she's gonna love it, and that's a wonderful gift for someone. Turn my volume off. Why is it still beeping at me? Why are you beeping at me? There's a there's an app or an ad where they're advertising super beats, which looks like people are literally drinking blood. I'm like, okay, you won't look weird at all going to drink that, and also have fun with your like body looking like it's bleeding when you use the restroom. Beats do that to your things coming out of your body. The dye is strong with that one, but it is supposed to be very good for your body. So now I've only seen this movie once. This is on Amazon Prime or Prime Video. So if you have Prime Video, you can watch it with me. If you don't, that's okay. We can just hang out. Get my little comfy pillow. Yeah, give your hands a nice little rest. When you're done, make sure they're taken care of because obviously when we're crocheters, our wrist, our hands, our arms, our upper body, all of that takes a hit. So make sure you're taking care of your body. I'm sure you know your body better than any of us could. So, um, do your best and take a rest if you need it. But that's amazing that you are almost done with that. You pop that up pretty quickly. No, I have not played the game Five Nights at Freddy's, so I can't attest to the accuracy or the, how fitting the movie is to the game. Uh, so if you have an opinion about if you played it and then feel free to share. But I have not seen it myself or played it myself. But it is interesting to see how they played out the storyline with the movie. Do you mind if I ask what scrub yarn you did decide to use for it? Now, Hirschner's has some nice, like, Halloween colored scrub yarn that I'm thinking about trying on my machine, but I'm really afraid of breaking my machine and not being able to afford to get a new one. I do love the music so much uh, in the movie, so because it has this like very just like haunting, but like um, you know, like fun vibe at the same time, and so it's really cool soundtrack, I think. And I don't know if that's in the game as well. I imagine it would play very well in the game, so I guess it's spelled out 5. I thought it was just the number 5. Can you finish this for me? Oh, okay. Let me see. Okay, yeah, no pressure if you can't. And I know that you can do like Google reverse image search, but I've never done it before. But some people do it. Yeah, that's always like the like it's like fun, but it's hard when people are like, "Can you finish this for me?" And you're like, "Does your sister crochet or knit?" She just started to learn. That's so cool. Learning to crochet. That's wonderful. What a great hobby to share with people. Matthew Lillard, you sexy, sexy man. Even when he's trying not to be sexy, you're like, yes. Sugar and cream scrub off yarn. Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, where it alternates between like the cotton bits and the scrubby bits. I've seen that. I know just like cotton won't go through my knitting machine. I need to have like all the. I wonder if just the scrubby part would be. Yep. Yeah, I've tried to put cotton through my machine when I uh, did the uh, when I first dyed cotton yarn. I wanted to see how it worked up and see how the color distribution was, and so just putting cotton or anything that tends to split through a knitting machine is going to be a little bit of a catastrophe because it will split in the knitting machine. So it is really, really difficult. But I was able to finally work it out, but it took a lot more like vigilance into making sure that I wasn't, splitting the yarn and having it, drop stitches or catch stitches. So I need something that's like all scrubby yarn, but then I don't know if like some of the like little scrubbies that come off of the base would be too difficult, or if the base itself being too thin would be a problem. I don't know. I did try Stitch Soak and Scrub, which is a Lion brand yarn, and that is a chainette style. Um, it did catch the stitches because like there were these really thin like filaments of like the plastic that would get caught up in the machine, so it would catch and kind of mess up the stitches and the look, but it has made some of the best scrubbies I've ever tried, and it's actually really easy on the hands. I think if I one problem I did face when I tried to, it was pretty easy to crochet by hand, but my cat kept trying to eat the yarn. So if you ever want to make a scrubby by hand and you want to try a different yarn that is not abrasive on the hands. Um, Stitch, soak, scrub. This is one that I do recommend. Um, I would just recommend getting a darker color so it's easier to be like a darker or brighter color so it's easier to see your stitches, because I got the color lilac, I think, and it was pretty like almost like completely see-through, so that made it a little hard. I love Matthew Lillard so much. This yarn is so soft. It feels like a dream. So I definitely recommend checking that yarn out if you want to make more scrubbies or washcloths. Um, and I just would recommend using a knitting machine if you have one of those. But crocheting, I didn't feel like it was a problem at all. Uh-huh. Like it's like the music is very like Stranger Things, like that kind of like everything's in like a minor. Um, um, all the music is in minor, not minor chords, but just like maybe minor chords. Mhm. I even really love like their use of like lighting. I mean, it feels very much like a video game where it's like just like how they like light everything. I really just like love like production like that where they're really considerate of just like all of those pieces, um, and it just really enhances the whole movie when it's not just like everything's super dark or everything's super bright. It's like they're considerate of how like these different like neons because it takes place in like a basically like a Chuck E. Cheese of sorts, and like just how like these neons would like bounce off the skin against this like dark background, and it's just really cool to see just um, to see everything. It really does feel like walking through a video game, which is exciting for me as someone who loves games. Hi Lydia, welcome in. We're watching Five Nights at Freddy's, which is based off a video game of the same name. Okay. So now that we are at this corner, I'm going to count the. Yeah, it's really fun, and I never played the video game, but like it definitely gives like so many like video game vibes, and just everything is really really cool. And obviously there's a twist, um, but it's it's really fun to watch. And we're on a little Matthew Lillard. We're gonna try to watch as many Halloween Matthew Lillard movies. I already watched Scream. Didn't fit that in the Matthew Lillard, uh, you know, dedication, but obviously that's a great one that he is in. He does an amazing job. So let's count our stitches from the inside of the arm all the way up to, let me just sew this in real quick, just while I'm here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, 17. That's what I thought. I'm just making sure. Okay, so let's make sure we're counting from the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's. I thought we were at 16, so I'm very confused right now. Oh, okay, maybe we weren't at the very center of the Tootsie Pop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so we're gonna do 4 sides of the hexagon, and then we're gonna try to do the arm thing again. I know none of us are looking forward to it, but what needs to be done needs to be done. And we're going to be probably switching over to the other scheme while we're at it. Science fiction is kicking my butt dealing with this dry cough and dry mouth. Oh, I hate that. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah. Yeah, sinus infections are no good. I know you have had your share of just like nonstop allergies and everything. So this is all we have left of the second. Um, Yeah, not fun. I'm so sorry you're feeling bad. I hope you start to feel good sooner. once you kind of know who people are, you start to kind of like put stuff together. And you're like, yeah. Okay. I saw Stitch of the Month link. I thought you were not doing it this month. No, I've been doing it all of August. It's the same. It's the Alpine Stitch, same stitch that we've been doing all month. I don't know what stitch I'm gonna do next month. Um, I haven't really thought about it that much, to be honest. But I probably should do some filming about what I'm gonna do for September. Animatronics creep me out, so I knew that if I played this game, it would just creep me out. Honestly, the cop is sus. Anyways, now I gotta find the end. Just believe in myself. Less barf than I've seen, which is kind of a big sign. Get a cough shot. Oh yeah. I also really like teas in moments like this. So like I like throat coat tea. It's got I think it's got like a I don't like licorice, but it's kind of got a licoricey flavor, but I can deal with it. Some people they just hate it so much. So but that does help quite a bit. But then there's also some really good like cough like teas and stuff like that that kind of soothe like the throat. Really anything, any kind of tea is good, especially if there's like honey or something like that. There's actually, I'm gonna pause it real quick. So there's actually like scientific evidence. So this is backed by science, like I promise you. I found this out from a doctor. So there's a type of honey called Manuka honey. No, I didn't go pick up my yarn just because I slept most of the day. I'm either getting or have been sick or I am just depressed, like I've been. But I didn't get a chance to go out and get my yarn, and I'm not trying to shop more than I need to because I really don't need to. I need to use what I have in my collection so that I can, pare down and get down to, just, be more reasonable. I did shop. I did go to the hair store, and I was gonna get white for my white wig that I had, but they did not have any white hair to add. They had like platinum blonde, but I found this rainbow hair that I'm gonna add to the white wig, and I'm excited about it. And then I'm gonna have to push back my drag debut uh, until the beginning of October, but that'll give me some more time to get stuff done. So that's okay. Uh, let's see. Um, so I didn't go yarn shopping. Oh, but honey has been used for millennia as a like anti. It's either antimicrobial or antibacterial agent. And what they found is a special type of honey produced, I think, specifically in New Zealand or Australia, called Manuka honey. It's very thick and very creamy, actually has like the highest proportion of like these like antibacterial components. So if you add a little bit of that to your tea, it's very soothing to your throat, and just feels really, really wonderful, and does have some great qualities to it. So if you want to do some research on Manuka honey and its benefits, that is actually something that is really good for a sore throat. It is more expensive. You can just use regular honey, like local honey. Local honey is great for allergies. Honey is great for just it being honey. But then if you want to like really pump it up, you can use that Manuka honey. It's, like I said, pretty expensive, but you don't use that much, and it's really worth the price, I think. Because if I have a sore throat, it just, because it's thicker and like creamier, it just feels like it coats everything so much better. So you can put it in tea, or you could just like eat a spoonful of it, and it feels really nice on your throat. So something to try. If you're interested. I don't want to tell you how to live your life, but okay, let me start this back up. I love the break-in scene. It's so good. I hate when you're. I love honey. Use it all the time. Great. Yeah, that definitely helps with the sore throat. The little cupcake, I'm obsessed with. I kind of want to make like one just for shiggles. If I did go yarn shopping and I went to like Joanne, what would you? Is there a yarn that you would all suggest that I check out and like look at in person? I told you all about the KNC botanicals that I was like really, really obsessed with. So um, I might get some of that, even though I'd like to get it at a higher percent off. I do have a good coupon, like it's like $5 off when you spend $5 or more. So Yeah, evil animatronics is probably my worst nightmare. That and like talking animals. Talking animals freak me out so much. I love a bloody handprint just like sliding down. You don't get yarn at Joanne. Well, if you do see anything in Joanne, I mean, they're always having like really good sales, and they are really close to Michael's for me. Michael's doesn't usually have the sales that I um, go for, but if you did see anything on the Joanne website that you were curious about, Joanne will occasionally have like good sales on like shipping and stuff, so that even though you don't live close to them, you could get the yarn through shipping. Now, I would always suggest if you are going to get Joanne yarn shipped to you, you always get a really good. Um, you always try to get the best discount um, through shipping, because paying full price for Joanne shipping is pretty freaking high. She's mean and she smells like cigarettes. Gross. And you're not out here to have fun. Okay. She's just like, I love the most fun. Considering the mess that they made when they broke in, he does an incredible job at cleaning this place, like overnight. Like pretty incredible. I could barely get like one thing done. Okay. So I think that I've done 4 sides, but let me double check. One, two. Okay, so I've only done 3 sides. So I need to do 4. So I'm drawing of a bunny. Hi, China. Tonight we're watching Five Nights at Freddy's. I didn't realize in the title that five is spelled out, not just the number five. We're having a little moment to celebrate Matthew Lillard, who is fine as hell, no matter what age he is. So we watched Scream the other night. We're watching Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm going to try to find the live action Scooby Doo, and then we're going to watch 13 Ghosts. Because he's in all of those and different eras of his career. Hey, Rudy, welcome in. Still working on my cardigan commission. I love that movie, 13 Ghosts. Yes. Oh my gosh. It's so fun. So, like, not what you. It's just. That's probably one of the scariest movies that I can deal with, but it's still, like, very fun and interesting and just scary, gory, all of those things. This is such a good movie. Yellow rabbit. So we're going back to Freddy's. This makes me wonder if I could, like, have the courage to play the video game. The Torn Prince. Which one is that? Is that the one? That's not the one who's like the big guy who's like. I'll have to look it up. Because, like, obviously there's like the different ghosts. I'm assuming that you're talking about the 13 ghosts. I always found that the scariest one was the one with the like cage around their head. Like that was like. Oh yeah. I don't remember much about him if I'm being honest. I have to watch it again and like keep that. Yeah, the jackal with the one with the one with the one with the cage around their head. That is like the. And obviously the like one that's just the torso. That's pretty cool. There's so much cool makeup in that movie. I really like talking about like the makeup and the. I'm talking about the makeup in any like horror movie. So, are you working on anything, China? Also, did you get your I keep on saying Durham Bulls, your Chicago Bulls, blanket done? I think that's the last thing I knew you were working on. Okay, making sure I have the adequate number of sides done. We're gonna try this. We're gonna try to not get hung up on how painfully painful this was. I put that on hold, going through a lot. Oh, I hope you're doing okay. Working on a hoodie from MJ off the hook. Ooh, a hoodie. Ooh, I would love to see that. I've been missing your lives because I am. Life is throwing me a doozy too. Life is hard, y'all. Anyone who says otherwise can. Because life is hard. And I'm just like, waiting for things to be a little bit easier, and they just never seem to be. On row 14, I'll have to check that out, see what the hoodie looks like. I love hoodies. I like cardigan. Like, I prefer, like, a hoodie cardigan. I prefer, like, that than just, like, a cardigan and stuff like that. Hey, Jenny, welcome in. She looks so angry. Why does everyone always look at you that way? (10:30), I want to let you know. Going to bed. Busy work. Sunday, I don't work. Okay, yeah, I'll be around here and there. The ant is the worst. Yep, I mean, it'll be around. Newspaper stripe. Oh, is that the puzzle yarn? I know the puzzle yarn always like does a lot of like crossword and like different types of puzzles. Yep, you're always welcome if you fall asleep or you gotta go to bed or you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Look, y'all, I'm not trying to put all this pressure on you all to just like show up and be around and, you know, force your body to, perform when you can't. Just, just show up when you want to, when you can. That's all that matters. You just finished your washcloth, weaving in the ends. Nice. Congratulations. That's always the best feeling. It's like, it's annoying to like, to weave in ends and stuff, but like once you're at that point, it's just like so much better. Okay, just sewing up the edge, doing the way I'm stitching it together. Um, so it's sewless. So hopefully we'll get the counts right this time because sewing the edges together last time made me almost lose my mind and it just wasn't a good time for anybody. It was Ruth. Why do I love sewing? It's nice. Okay, first of all, if you feel like a weirdo, let me pause it real quick because we're gonna have a little talk about being weird. First of all, there's nothing wrong with liking what you like. Doesn't make you weird. Everyone has their preferences. I actually don't mind sewing in ends as long as it's like within reason. If it's like a million ends, I'm like over it. But it's that sense of completion that you get. You're just like all the hard work is done, and you're just sewing in the ends. And it just feels so nice. So I totally understand. I kind of like sewing in ends too. I'm not gonna be honest. I will admit that I'm not the best at sewing in ends. Like, not that the whole piece unravels or anything, but like there's always like a little like dink, like a little piece of yarn that shows up, and I'm like, ugh, just like, and you can't trim it because then it like holds in more, and then you have to cut it again and stuff like that. But I think it's fun. I don't know. I mean, like, to a certain extent. So feel your weirdo oats and just know that there's no problem with liking what you like. So you like sewing in ends, embrace that. Embrace that. And maybe once your sister gets better at crocheting, you can do a little trade off where maybe there's something you don't like to do, and maybe she won't like to sew in ends, and you can do a little trade off where she, sews in your, she does whatever she likes to do, and you sew in her ends. So then you got a little, machine, you know, kind of factory lineup of things that you both enjoy to do. But hey, if you like sewing in ends, that's fine. That's cool. I totally understand it. It's that sense of completion. Yeah, it is. It is pretty fun. I get it. So hey, you know, I don't think you're weird, but if you think that makes you weird, I mean, what's the name of this channel, right? So keep going for it. Okay, I don't think this lined up. But okay, so it's still not quite right. Could be worse, but it could be better. Okay, wait, I skipped. Okay, wait, this seems like it might be working out. Ask her to cook for me. Yeah, exactly. Just trading services. Okay, so, oh my gosh, it lined up the first time around. Yes, bitch. Okay. Okay, so now we have to get the sleeve and bottom length to be the same. So we're gonna work on the sleeve length first. Okay, so now the sleeve should have 16 rows, but we're gonna double check that first. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. So for the sleeves, that looks snug again. I miss teddy bear size. Yeah, it looks a lot smaller than the other side, but it's the same number of stitches. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So it's 23 rows in the sleeves. Some of it is the same yarn and some of it is not. But it'll stretch out over time. It's really actually not that different. It's just also how the yarn appears. Because, like, it's actually the same. See? It just looks different, right? So we're going to do 23 rows, even though my pen, I can never find a pen that works when I need it to. And that is frustrating. So this is mostly the Big Twist Living yarn, the anti-pilling. And then this is the Basic Stitch by Lion Brand. So now I'm just switching direction and working on the. Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate that. Thank you. Maybe this isn't a time for a monologue. What the hell did I do here? Let's too many stitches. You should make a teddy bear cardigan during one of your lives. I bet you can. No, there are a lot of people who make cardigans and stuff like that. So, not really for the massive amounts of views. It's first amount of time. First time we get to see the rabbit. What do I keep on doing? Like not paying attention. I'm doing all these stupid things. I heard there might be a sequel to this one. So that should be fun. I think Matthew Lillard hinted at it. Everyone, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people have made, you know, have made cardigans for those sizes. I mean, if you if you want to make one that size, it makes perfect sense. But I have so much stuff that I already can't sell and can't get rid of that I'm like, ugh, I'm probably probably wouldn't. It's this. Um, it has taken a lot of practice, and then only on certain stitches. Time as anyone who's used Basic Stitch recently, and I feel like this is maybe just in this particular um, uh, batch of Basic Stitch, but yeah, I just feel like this batch is like I always felt like Basic Stitch was a really consistent, really good yarn, and I just feel like this yarn hasn't been as like consistent. I am making a lot more mistakes, not paying attention, so don't be too impressed. I'm like, what did I do? Just I love this ending. It's so good. Okay, China. So if they do a sequel, I'm not exactly sure what they would do. I don't know if in the game, I don't know if it's a sequel to the game. Okay, so let's see. there. And so, yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's is a really great movie. There's some really interesting psychological aspects to it that I think are um, really like not, you know, it's interesting to the horror genre um, because uh, so Josh Hutcherson's character. Uh, I'll give you a quick synopsis. I'll try not to spoil anything for people who haven't watched, but I feel like I kind of spoiled some things kind of throughout the whole watching of it. So sorry, but that's just how it is. So Josh Hutcherson's character is dealing with PTSD, really, of losing his brother getting abducted when he was much younger, and so he's dealing with this like loss, and then he's trying to kind of um, he has this belief that he can like go into his dreams and figure things out and like figure out who took his brother. But then Josh Hutcherson also has his younger sister who's like very like socially reclusive and like very like it's very like it calls upon like the kind of like sixth sense, kind of like a child who can see things that aren't there. And at first you think she's just got imaginary friends and like or like something like that. But then we realize that she's actually seeing the character, she's seeing the children that were involved in what uh, kind of made uh, Freddy's, you know, get in trouble at, ultimately, right? And so we get this, where there are a couple like psychological like plays into this, and then we also see um, the um, the villain's uh, child, deal with the trauma of being like subjected to basically like a psychotic killer's like whims, and being like under the control of him, and being the person who is constantly like required to kind of handle the prey of these of of the instruments of not good things, right? And so it's really interesting because I think that there are a lot of uh, things that you wouldn't necessarily have like upon first sight of the movie have seen. There is one aspect too that I feel like really kind of gets fairly underplayed under the backdrop of all of this stuff, or like in the backdrop of all this stuff, where you have this aunt who is basically trying to take the younger sister away from Josh Hutcherson, and um, she is doing she's willing to do anything to take the sister away from Josh Hutcherson, and this includes like like making a making his life miserable, and really like it's kind of clear from the beginning that like she just wants the check. She doesn't really care about the child's well-being, and so like I feel like that trope or that reality gets played up a lot as well. Now, there wasn't much special effects makeup in the um, in the movie itself. I would say it was actually kept to a minimum. So there's not a lot of commentary on makeup that I will include. Like if there is like blood or like something bloody, like usually it's like not seen visibly, or it's just like kind of like blood smeared on, like or blood dripping. So it's hard for me to be like that's good makeup if it's just blood dripping. Like that is like an easy makeup thing. I do think that the costuming is very, very good in this movie. Uh, for the animatronics, because I do imagine that they had people inside of the animatronics. I'm sure they did post work on making them like larger, like working with scale and different facets of like, I'm sure that, but like they look like they probably like the blinking of the eyes and like different facets and things like that. They appeared to have humans inside of them. And so all of that work, I think, was really, really, really well done from what I've seen of Five Nights at Freddy's, the video game. Honestly, like it looks like it's straight from the video game. The costume work on that is so great. I talked about the lighting and how that like spooky lighting of having kind of like it's dark, but there's like the neons that really like cast like this ominous, but like the dichotomy of like it being really scary, but also this is supposed to be a place where like kids were supposed to have fun and like, kids could be kids or whatever, um, I felt like it really, really set the scene. The soundtrack was fun, um, and I thought they did a great job pulling this movie together and making something fun to watch. So I know that some of you have seen this movie before and some of you haven't. I'm very interested to see how they will bring it back if they do a sequel, because I think that it would be interesting because you have a very different scenario set up, and also like Matthew Lillard being the one saying that it will come back implies that Matthew Lillard will be in it, and that means something, right? Because at the end, you know. So I had a great time watching this movie. Matthew Lillard plays such a good bad guy. If I think of like iconic, um, I really want to put these on here. We'll see this pen works. No. So I just put Silence of the Lambs and the Red Dragon up on there. I know technically one is a sequel to the other, but they are both very different movies. I think Red Dragon is the sequel to Silence of the Lambs, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but Ralph Fiennes is the bad guy in that. Spoiler alert. And I was just thinking about like who plays really good bad guys, and Matthew Lillard plays, in every movie that he's played a bad guy. I mean, he honestly does every character great. Like he does a lot of justice to every character he's in, but he plays a really good bad guy, uh, and and I think it's because he can play these like really unhinged characters so well. Ralph Fiennes also plays a really good bad guy, and um, so that's why it got me thinking about like the Red Dragon. Obviously, the series that we're not going to pull any more attention to than we have to. Ralph Fiennes is in and plays a very iconic bad guy. So just like there are certain people who just do bad good, and so it's fun to watch uh, these these characters get kind of played out played out by really good actors who are so entertaining to watch, who play those villains very well. Um, Anthony Hopkins obviously plays Hannibal Lecter super, super well. You know, I think that, like, there's some people who play like unhinged people really well, and other people who play these like very controlled, um, controlled, evil people very well. You know what I mean? And like Ralph Fiennes and Anthony Hopkins like both do that very controlled, evil really well. And then when it comes to Matthew Lillard, it's just that he kind of can bring this like, it's like he gets like joy out of like playing someone evil or like being evil as a character. And it just makes it, 10 times more uh, exciting to watch these characters develop and watch how these actors decide to play these roles. So um, I yeah, I really love them. So if you know some actors or some characters who you feel like that was the ultimate, like they played a bad guy so good, like I'd love to hear what you think of, like who's your ultimate like bad guy, like who plays like a bad guy so well in your eyes, because there's so many great actors out there, and I feel like when I hear someone, if I hear like Matthew Lillard's going to be the villain or something like that, like I just automatically know that it's going to be a good time. So if you have someone like that, like I definitely would love to hear your thoughts on that, because there are people who are reoccurring in the horror and like scary movie genre, that just play those characters really well. Not the biggest Johnny Depp like fan, but like when Johnny Depp commits to a character, I mean, he definitely commits to a character. Um, but I mean, I feel like that can kind of swing either way. So let me know who some of your favorite actors are if you're into that kind of thing. But I will let you go. I'm gonna keep on working on this cardigan. And hopefully next time I see you, I will at least have the sleeve done. And then we'll work on the bottom part. I feel like you can really see in this one. Maybe it's because like the color is solid, but I feel like you can really see that diagonal. Is it just me? Is it just like my like brain? That's how it works. I feel like I can really, really see it, but that's okay. But that's because there are two stitches or two granny clusters in those spots rather than just one granny cluster. So that's what the bottom looks like right now. But we're gonna add link to it, and then we're gonna add three. The way that this granny the way that this granny cardigan comes together. The person who made it adds 3 rows on the back panel that will create a space for the neck, or just like the neck space. You can adjust it obviously based on your hook and yarn size, but then you connect it in the back so it's connected, and then you'll have your little split right there. Yeah, I'm loving it so far. The yarn is very soft, and I'm really happy that I went with that I was able to find an anti-pilling yarn that seems like the perfect yellow for the asexual yarn. Like I said, like I have some like bright yellow from Premier, which I'm so glad I didn't have to worry about that, because I think I have 3 of these. Wait, is this not anti-pilling? Oh wait, this is. So I have these. So this is Premier Everyday Anti-Pilling, but as you can see, it's like a primary yellow versus the golden yellow that we see in, wow, this is already used up quite a bit. I'm glad I got that yarn. But we can see the slight difference. I mean, it's a little bit more visible in person, but Premier Yarn, it just takes a while to ship because I do have to get it shipped to me, and it's never really on sale. It's, I don't know, like, I have kind of a love meh relationship with Premiere. Like, I just don't really look there anymore because I'm tired of, like, occasionally finding yarn that I feel like I want and then just never really fulfilling the prophecy of being the yarn that I wanted. So, but in anti-pilling yarn, Premier does have the widest range. Um, and so that's really nice. I think that this would have worked up fine, but I don't think I would have had enough yarn, and I think that that would have presented a problem, because ordering it in a week's time frame would have. I mean, I might have not known until the point that I did figure out that I needed more yarn. I probably would have ordered more immediately, but even then, I would have been on a pretty tight time crunch to turn it around. So I'm glad that I have more accessible yarn. The accessibility of yarn really makes a huge difference in how we're able to complete projects now, and that is amazing and definitely something that I take for granted sometimes. But it's allowed me to not over purchase a lot of yarn, which I like. I do, I always wonder like if the golden yellow is going to look good with the purple, because in the flag, like the yellow looks pretty good with the purple, but yellow and purple are just kind of, I mean, yellow and purple are literally on the opposite sides of the color spectrum. So it's not necessarily just about what looks good, it's about what represents the flag the best. But this yellow, I just don't feel like would have been right. So I probably would have gone with like a value yarn rather than an anti-pilling yarn, just for the accessibility of it. And then I don't even still think that I would have found the right shade because I probably would have gone with big twist value, and I didn't really like the big twist value options because the two that I was between was uh, varsity yellow, which is like a bright, solid, like yellow, like quite kind of like this, and then mustard, but it was more brown mustard than this one is. So this one I feel like is like the perfect like golden shade. China, I posed a question where I was like, because I feel like Matthew Lillard always plays like a really good bad guy. If I see he's going to be playing like a bad guy, I'm like, oh, he's going to be really good at it, like in Scream, maybe in Five Nights at Freddy's. And then there are other actors like Ralph Fiennes, who played Voldemort, who has been in many other um, movies where he's been the bad guy, and like if those actors are gonna be in that role, in the bad guy role, they're gonna kill it. They're gonna do so good. While they're very different, Matthew Lillard plays kind of like an unhinged character, whereas Ralph Fiennes usually is someone who's very particular and controlled and like very like creepy. And there's a lot of actors like that. So if you know any actors who you feel like always play really solid bad guys, like who would those be for you? So that's the question I'm going to leave you all with tonight. Um, if you saw me trying to work on my wig last night and you were watching me struggle with keeping the wig on the wig stand, it turns out that there was a piece or two pieces of the wig stand that I didn't know came with it and had like fallen away from the wig stand. And so now it stays on there just fine. And I'm like, well, fuck me too. Because I almost had to buy a new wig head, but I was like, how does this fit on it? Like, it doesn't screw on right. And then, so I went to the hair store. I was going to find like white Kanekalon, like braiding hair, and could not find white anywhere. I know white is super hard and nobody really makes it because people don't really use it. So I kind of knew it was a long shot anyways. But for my white wig, I have the choice of either ordering from where I ordered that wig from, because um, they can do like wefted yarn, so I could sew it in, or they have braiding hair, so I could attach it via latch hook or however I wanted to do it. Um, I kind of hate sewing on wefts. It is like ultimately faster, but like something about it makes me just want to like rip out my own hair. But I've been looking at this for a long time and I'm like, how can I pull this into my look? This is rainbow neckline. So wouldn't that be gorgeous, like peeking out of like the white? The only thing is first of all, I would have to curl it. This is hot water set. So I would curl it very similar to how I did my pride hair, which I would show you more of because I did record that whole process, but it was so long that it was just way too damn much. But also because I'm going to be backcombing and create a lot of volume, like if I attach the purple at the base of like at the weft, and I did my backcombing, you're not ever going to really see the purple, and also purple's the darkest color of all these colors, so you're not really going to see any purple, so it's just going to be kind of like this part of the rainbow. So I'm like, I'll curl it and then I'll attach it like here so that the purple actually can like be in this like waterfall of color. But it's gorgeous, isn't it? It was pretty pricey for Kanekalon. I mean, granted, like it wasn't the worst I've ever paid for hair, but it was like $7.99. 3 times easy, pre-stretch braid, extremely lightweight. It says it's water resistant, which I actually don't know what that means. Like, what do you mean your fake plastic hair is water resistant? And then it says extremely lightweight, natural looking ends. Thank you. Hot water setting, which is what I need, and then antibacterial and itch free. And I'm also like, is the other Connect line I'm using not like is the plastic bacterial? I don't know. I don't know. I can't think about these things. They hurt my brain because they'll put all kinds of stuff on here, and you're like, what? But I mean, if it does itch less, I mean, I've never really had an itching problem with hair, but I mean, hair anything can get itchy if you rub it on your skin enough, I guess. But yeah, so this is pre-stretched, so it doesn't, so it's nice and smooth looking. And then I'm gonna do hot water setting on this, where I'll do a foam roller. And what I usually do is I usually have a bowl, and I'll roll a couple in foam rollers, and then I'll toss them in a bowl, and then I'll put hot water on them, like just shy of boiling. You don't need boiling water, and sometimes it can be too hot depending on the hair. And then I let them sit for a little bit, and then I actually just throw them in like ice water because I'm too lazy to let things dry naturally. Like I'm too damn lazy. I don't have time for that. And then the stuff on my wig, I'm using like a steamer for that, a little handheld like um, garment steamer that I just got because it's a little bit harder to dip like a whole like wig into a bowl of hot water. Can be done, but you always want to be careful that you don't burn yourself because burns happen a lot when you deal with hair. A lot. A lot. I'm not speaking from experience, but this is my first like venture back into synthetic hair in a while. I mean, like I said, I did my pride hair, which I didn't show you. If anybody cares, for my pride hair, I did. So I had my blue hair, and then what I did because I wanted to incorporate I wanted to have like white and pink for like trans pride, but I knew that like getting my hair, like dyeing my hair white was going to be like impossible. my hair is dark brown. It's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna get white. I can get blonde, but I cannot get white, and I would kill my hair doing it. And I don't even have a desire to do it. And then getting it light pink, I still have to get really light blonde. So I was like, well, I found some Kanekalon that was like pink and then it faded into white. So what I did is I did the foam roller technique, and then I basically started um, like I kind of made my own like wefts out of tape just to like hold them for like the meantime, and then I would section my hair like this. This is a very poor example, but against like I'd put less if it was going to be visible. Now you can use Ghost Bond, but I wasn't going to pay that amount for something that I was going to wear for like a weekend or however many days. And when you put it on, you want to make sure your scalp is clean. And then, so I would basically have like laid out this hair very thin, and I would just cut it, and it was curly and matched my curl pattern. And then I would glue it, kind of like you were gluing like a fake eyelash. And then I would put it on my skin, and like a little bit on my hair. And it's kind of like, what's the like it was kind of like in the like it was inspired by this quick weave that I saw where someone did like a deep side part, and they did all the usual like laying tracks and like having like a top piece. They did all that, and then but they wanted it to look natural and like it was growing out right here. So they just glued the hair directly onto the skin, and I was like, that's brilliant. So I did that, and it actually lasted for a fairly good amount of time. So I would like have like pink bits and white bits, and then the hair would just stay in there. And because it was hot water set, like I mean, I granted I use like conditioning like shampoo, so like but I didn't wash my hair that much anyways. Um, but it stayed in really well, and definitely not like a long-term solution, but didn't pull out any of my natural hair. I did use like weave bond remover, to make sure that I didn't lose as much hair as possible, but that's what I did. So I forgot where I was going with that, but yeah, oh yeah, that was like the first thing back into synthetic hair that I did. Now like 10, 12, 13 years ago, I used to cosplay a lot, so I did a lot of things with wigs. I'm not great at hair, but I'm good enough. Hello, Fox Fluff. Welcome in. That is a super fun name. Um, so I'm not great at wigs. I'm not great at hair, but I do have fun doing it. And the transfer of skills from cosplay and stuff like that, costuming, to drag has been pretty cool because there's a lot of overlap. The only difference is when you cosplay, you're going for a specific look, so you kind of know what you're going for. I set fires to fuel joy. That's cool. Just be careful. Don't hurt anyone. But if that's what you need to feel joy, fire pits need fire. Um, Candles need fire. You could set metaphorical fires. Um, you know, like fires in people's loins. But yeah, so but what I love about cosplay and about drag is you um like you have to do so many different like crafty skills and things like that, that it really pulls from like so many different aspects of crafting and making and designing um, cosplay, as opposed to I set my microwave on fire the other day. Did you do that on accident? Because I wouldn't recommend that. Just on an average day, because you know thing about anything is that most things cost money, and so burning money is never my go-to. But you know, just um, so but like with drag, it's like you can dress however you want, you can do whatever makeup you want, you can do whatever hair you want, and yeah, okay, well, please be careful, um, and just keep in mind that there is internet trail of what you're saying. just keep that in mind. Um, so yeah, I feel like that's the hardest part, is that I don't really have any sense of style, and so getting that together is really challenging for me. But it's still fun. It's still fun to try new things, and I'm excited to put the rainbow in. There's a type of paper plate that couldn't go in the microwave. Oh, I didn't know that either. Ooh, wow, that's scary. Yeah, yeah, I guess you found out. Hmm. I wonder, like, did it have like like gold or something on it, or because like there's like those like fancy ones that have like the you know like gold leaf or some shit on it. Yeah, I wouldn't have known either. I would have set my shit on fire too. Um, but yeah, so it's really fun. So I'm looking forward to not only watching movies with you to get ready for Halloween, but also to like prepping for my drag show. Like I said, I was preparing to do it like September 5th, but because I missed the like registration date, um, it had foul on it. What's that mean? Like 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 birds? um, uh, Yeah, I just like, oh, foil. Oh, okay. It had foil on it. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, you gotta be careful. That shit'll sneak up on you. Um, so those you got it. You can't put in the microwave. And there's like plastic versions that have the foil on it too and stuff like that. And they will light up your shit. Um, but yeah, so I'm really having fun, and I like. Is this the kind of stuff that you all want to see? I'll probably show it to you, whether you want to see it or not. But I think it's really cool to be able to. It's okay. I suck at spelling. I suck even more at reading. So don't even worry about that. Um, but yeah, so it's really fun to do all this stuff, explore different aspects of your creativity. I think we have a lot. I know for a fact we have a lot of really creative people in the room right now, and the thing is, it's like some of us, like we're like one craft people. Like you crochet, that's your craft of choice. You stick with it. You don't really venture off. Maybe sometimes you try other things, and you always kind of end up in crochet. And then for some of us, we kind of like all the crafts pretty much. And I'm like, I like most of the crafts. There are some things that I just don't really like. I'm really slow at knitting. I don't hate it. I'm just so slow at it. It kind of gets to a point where I'm like, I'm never gonna make anything. Embroidery is cool, but I suck at it. Cross stitch is very slow but really cool. Things like that. But I do like expressing my creativity in a bunch of different mediums, the leather, the sewing, yarn work, anything like that. So, so if you like doing a bunch of different types of crafting and DIY and stuff like that, like I feel like this is kind of like drag and costuming and cosplay are kind of like the best of all worlds. I do have to think about what I want to do for my Halloween costume though, because I'm not quite sure. Like the Halloween costume that I was going to do isn't really like, it would just be cheaper and more effective. There's nothing special about it that you couldn't buy off of like Amazon. and it would be so much more expensive to make it myself, and it would look worse. So it wouldn't make any sense. I would do Dipper Pines from Gravity Falls, from Disney. So yeah, but drag, I can do whatever I want and have a lot of fun with that. So I think for my first performance, I'm going to be wearing, this is the front of the shirt that I kind of abandoned the project for a while. This is the front of the shirt. And then, oh my gosh, I have my booty shorts from Pride, and with my hip pads, they look bonkers. They look like they are so snug fit. I can barely get them on, and they are outrageous. They are outrageous. So if we're friends on Facebook and you would like to see some of the pictures that I have so far, please feel free to reach out to me. I won't reach out to anyone and try to make them view it, although I kind of did that with Crystal last night. But I'm really happy with how they look, and that some of it really that some of it works. Thanks, Fox. So yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep crocheting. I'm probably gonna turn on a show. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna turn on, but it's kind of weird now that, like, because my life has become consumed with Halloween movies. It's like I feel like I'm watching way more TV than I normally do. And so when I'm like, okay, let's sit down to crochet and watch something, I'm like, I feel like I've just gone through, like, the catalogs of every single streaming service I have. But that's not true, and there's a lot of things that are not Halloween-y that I could turn on. So, anyways, I will let you